My top 10 political films. If you're anything like me, going to the movie theaters as a kid was a huge part of my childhood, and going to see political thrillers, political dramas, political comedies were my first steps into politics. So I've put together my top 10 political films. Coming in at number 10 is Game Change, a behind-the-scenes look at John McCain's 2008 presidential campaign. It focuses on the big gamble that was selecting Sarah Palin as his vice presidential running mate. The film really effectively explores the internal conflicts of a political campaign, the media frenzy that surrounded Sarah Palin, often brought on by herself saying really stupid shit on the campaign trail, her outrageous views, her idiocy in certain cases, not knowing what she's talking about. And it really effectively shows Sarah Palin on the national stage. So go and watch Game Change. All right, at number 9 is The Butler. Inspired by the life of Eugene Allen, this explores the decades of American history through the eyes of Cecile Gaines, an African-American butler who serves 8 presidents at the White House. The film intertwines his service with his family's struggles and the broader civil rights movement in America. This film has an expert cast: Forrest Whitaker, Oprah Winfrey, Lenny Kravitz, Cuba Gooding Jr., all of which give exceptional performances. And what makes this film so unique is it shows different political presidents, different American presidents with different ideologies, through the prism and the eyes of the butler at the White House. So The Butler comes in at number 9. At 8, it's JFK. You might have seen this one come in. Oliver Stone's controversial drama follows a New Orleans District Attorney, Jim Garrison, as he investigates the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. This film blends courtroom drama, conspiracy theory, and a historical reconstruction of the assassination of JFK. The film suggests a wide-ranging government cover-up. Now, this isn't a historically accurate film, nor is it to say that the theory it posits is necessarily true, but it does capture the intense debate that surrounds one of the most historical significant moments in American history, and that is the assassination of John F. Kennedy, and the various ideals and theories about what happened that day outside the library in Texas. A surprise edition at number 7, and that's The Ides of March. It's a sharp political drama about ambition, loyalty, and betrayal, really. An idealistic young press secretary who is played by Ryan Gosling in this film, who works for a Democratic presidential frontrunner, gets caught in the crossfires of backroom deals and scandals, testing his morality and faith in the political spectrum and the political system. You get Philip Seymour Hoffman in this film. You get George Clooney, who is excellent in this film. And what this film portrays really amazingly, and I personally connected with through my time in politics, is how quickly idealism and that fervor that you come into politics gets chopped down and broken down. All right, number 6, The Post. It's set in the early 1970s. The film tells the story of the Washington Post, the name of the film, publisher Katharine Graham and the editor Ben Bradley as they risk their careers, reputation, and even potential jail time to publish the Pentagon Papers, which were secret government documents detailing decades of deception about the Vietnam War. This is a true story and stars Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks, 2 heavyweight actors. And what this film portrays so well is the moments of history that require courage and the moments of history that require bravery. Because to publish those papers knowing the backlash and the potential impacts and ramifications that could come from some of the most powerful people in the world is expertly depicted in this film, and is carried by the performances of Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks, and shows you really the place that journalism holds in a well-informed democracy. At number 5, we have what many will call the greatest political film, not me, All the President's Men, a landmark political thriller, and it's based on real events. Washington Post, again, reporters Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein, perhaps the 2 most famous journalists of all time, doggedly investigate the Watergate break-in, slowly uncovering a trail of corruption, that leads to the highest levels of government and ultimately forces the President of the United States to resign. Robert Redford, Dustin Hoffman, Jason Robards, and Hal Holbrook are all in this movie, and really Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman carry this movie. But it shows you again a real significant moment in history, the role that journalism plays in keeping our democracy honest and safe, and the impacts, the ramifications that it can have on a presidency, ultimately taking down Richard Nixon's premiership and presidential term in office as he resigns as a result of the Watergate scandal. One of the biggest scandals in American politics put on screen for you. Number 4 is Lincoln, directed by Steven Spielberg and one of Daniel Day-Lewis's final films. It's a historical drama that depicts President Abraham Lincoln's final months in office as he works tirelessly to pass the 13th Amendment, which abolishes slavery. The film focuses on his political strategy, moral conviction, and ability to navigate the divide in Congress during the Civil War. If you're looking for a movie that depicts politics and the detail and granular levels of politics and the toll it takes on leaders, this is the best movie on the list. Okay, coming in at number 3 is Spotlight, based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning investigation by the Boston Globe. The film follows the Spotlight team of journalists that uncover a systematic cover-up of child abuse by the Catholic priests facing enormous resistance from the church and the community, starring Mark Ruffalo, Michael Keaton, Rachel McAdams, and Stanley Tucci. This is oftentimes a really painful film to watch. You'll see in a lot of these films, journalism plays a significant role. But again, this shows a difficult, painful moment in history, and the uncovering of the child sexual abuse scandal by the Catholic Church. But it gives you a real indication of the pushback from powerful people to stop this story breaking, again led by an expert cast. So Spotlight comes in at number 3. Number 2 is Charlie Wilson's War, starring Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, Philip Seymour Hoffman, and Amy Adams. It's a satirical political drama based on true events. Texas Congressman Charlie Wilson is a hard-partying but very shrewd politician, and he teams up with a CIA agent and a wealthy Houston socialite to covertly fund the Afghan Mujahideen fighters against the Soviet army in the 1980s. A move which has enormous unintended long-term consequences, which shows the domino effects that politics can have. And all it takes is a single push of the domino, which has impacts for decades and decades to come. So if you're looking for a film to show you the vastness of politics and how a decision made in a party in Washington, D.C. can have impacts in Kabul, Afghanistan, and the increasing globalized world and the interconnectedness of our politics, this film is for you. Before we give you the number 1 political movie I'm going to recommend, let's do some honorary mentions. V for Vendetta is, as you won't be surprised from me, a graphic novel by Alan Moore and David Lloyd, which looks at a dystopian political future. And the second honorable mention goes to War Dogs, starring Jonah Hill in what I think is his best role, Mike Tellers as David Packus. It's a dark comedy. So if you're looking for a more comedic film, but I think this is the only comedy on the list that's inspired by true events. It's about 2 arms dealers from Miami who exploit a government loophole to secure a $300 million Pentagon contract to supply weapons to the US's allies in Afghanistan. All right, and number 1 is the best political film that you can go out and watch. Directed by Spike Lee is Malcolm X. This is a sweeping biopic that follows Malcolm X's transformation from a street hustler to one of the most influential figures of the civil rights movement and in human history. It explores his time in prison, his conversion to Islam, his rise within the Nation of Islam, the split within the group, his pilgrimage later on to Mecca, and his ultimate assassination. The film is nigh on very accurate to the historical reality of Malcolm X's life. It shows his motivations in becoming a civil rights leader, his real, true, and committed journey to fighting racism and abolishing racism in America, his own self-professed misguided early years in the Nation of Islam, and then the real painful split and his ultimate demise and killing in the Autobahn ballroom in New York. It is a moving film, it's an emotional film, it's a historically significant film, and it's one that I highly recommend that you go and watch. Those are my top 10 political films with some honorary mentions, but I want to hear from you in the comments. What are your favourite political films? Are there some I've missed? There are some that undoubtedly I haven't watched, so I want to hear what your favourite political films are. Stick them in the comments, like the video, share this video with your friends. If you know you have friends that are into movies and into politics, share it with them. Most importantly, subscribe to the channel. We're going to do much more content like this, listing political TV shows, films, documentaries, all of the sorts. So like, share, comment, and we'll see you in the next one. Salams.